Over here somewhere.
Back in the
In the late 70s, right?
Back over here somewhere.
I wouldn't have known.
Well, we can even find a photo of you back there somewhere, young man.
Yeah. No, I don't think it goes back that far.
You do actually, somewhere. Because there's some ones up there too.
This is 69, so that way probably.
Back in age a bit, Mike. if that's what
No,
you're
no,
looking
Del
for.
Florio. Was this?
Well, here's Mike.
You guys are live right now, just so you know.
I'm there.
You guys are live.
We should go out and drink.
Oh, I saw Burns having a barbecue thing. Urban and barbecue. Maybe the 31st.
I know, I'm.
No, let's say we're live.
Is there anything to do with smoking? With my breathing problems, I don't do anything.
This council meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of Monday, July 18, 2022 was included in the list of meetings published in the Courier News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting was placed on bulletin board of Borough Hall. A copy of this notice is available to the public, and a copy of this statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Dennis Sullivan.
Here.
Council members, Randall Brady,
Here.
Tom Mitchell,
Here.
Gina Stravic,
Here.
Roger Vroom,
Here.
Fred Weed,
Here.
and Randy Pitts is excused this evening.
Thank you. Please join me in the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have 1 set of minutes from July 5th meeting. I need a motion. So moved. Second.
Council members Randall Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes. All right, we have departmental reports of St. Hubers and the Board of Health. We have committee reports. Today we'll start to my far left with Councilman Mitchell.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Grove.
The next flood committee meeting will be Monday, council chambers, 6 p.m.
Thank you. Dr. Brady.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm happy to report that Councilman Brady was on vacation with his son and grandson, and I have had a wonderful time, and I'm grateful to say I have nothing to report. Thank you, Your Honor.
We're on the street.
Councilwoman Strong.
Well, the streak has ended. The Environmental Commission sponsored the dedication, along with the Recreation Committee, the dedication of the community garden to Jay Scott, former Recreation Commission member and avid gardener. So in his memory, the gardens behind Firehouse Field was dedicated. It was a great event. Most of us were there, 40, 50 people, and it was a good start to a well-intended project that has a lot of life and direction and enthusiasm and energy. So we commend the Environmental Commission and their membership for the good work that they've done, and we'll hopefully support them in the future with their expansion. So that is that. Also happy to report that we were approved for a grant with the New Jersey Tree Foundation, sponsored by Van Life. It's the second park that they've agreed to do for us. We'll have about 30-some trees planted at Southside Park, similar to the project that we did last fall at Firehouse Field. So that it comes paid for. Any volunteers are welcome to join us. Date to be determined yet. So that is other great news and work of the Environmental Commission. They are continuing to do great social media work, promoting good practices in town, and they will be taking some training this fall to satisfy their urban and community forestry credits. So I commend the committee for their good work.
Thank you. Councilman Weed.
Yes, just a few quick things. Recreation.
July 30th is the deadline for registering fall soccer for students entering grades 1 through 8. A Somerville Community Night will be held at the Somerset Patriot Stadium on Saturday, August 6th. Discounted tickets are available for purchase online. That is a fireworks night. Registration for the 7th Annual Somerville 5K Turkey Trot will open on August 1st. The early bird pricing is $30 in the month of August. Walk Park will be open daily from 12 to 6 p.m. through August 21st. Residents must register in advance. And finally, National Night Out will be held Tuesday, August 2nd from 6 to 8 at Carol Pager Field on Green Street. This is a free community event. We have hot dogs, ice cream, get to meet a lot of our police department. We have a lot of borough staff there. All of us usually go. And of course, as I always say, I've already signed up for the dunk tank. So if you've got a beef against me, by all means, get your pitching arm ready. That is all I have, Your Honor.
And it'll be again the annual Mayor's Chess Challenge, Mr. Reed. So, once you get out of the dunk tank, several years ago, you spent the entire night in the dunk tank, and I had to drag you over to the chess table.
We'll see.
The challenge has been issued once again. I just have two brief reports. First, Kevin, I asked you at the last meeting to reach out to the DNV or NBC, whatever nomenclature goes by now. Did we get a response from our outreach?
We did not yet.
Okay.
The new, she's getting settled into her position role. I didn't realize at the time she was a Somerset County resident.
Oh.
So
she can stop
I'll
here
follow up with
on her way home. She can take a half day.
with her to find
Take
out.
a half day in Trenton and meet us on site. Okay, good. The only other thing I have is I met with representatives of Habitat for Humanity the other day. They have purchased the property on Grove Street. There's a building lot that just about meets the building requirements for a single family home. It's a vacant lot right now. The property is buildable. It's 51 feet wide and you need 50 feet, of course, to build here in Somerville. They're going to build a modular home and they're in the process of identifying a veteran, perfectly with a family, to be awarded the rights to live there. Their plan is to announce the winner of their screening on Veterans Day. So I'll be working with them and the Legion to make that announcement that day. I don't have a time frame for the actual construction because they have to go through the construction office. There are some site conditions there. There's an old retaining wall that's not retaining anything. There are some trees that are more in the neighbor's driveway than in the ground. So there's a lot of site work that's going to be done. But this will be the second Habitat home built here in Somerville. I can't believe the last one was in the early 90s. I remember painting and banging nails and sanding there. That was on 2nd Street. And again, that was a very challenged lot. Habitat was able to purchase that lot, and it's still on the inventory. So this one will take place certainly within the next year. It will be modular, so it will be constructed off-site, brought in pieces and assembled on-site. And they're aware they'll have to work with the police departments and close off sections of Grove Street for a short period of time. But I was very encouraged by their outreach, create housing and also create veterans housing, which is their new focus. So I look forward to that. They're going to do a public outreach for donations, mostly of materials, and not so much time because the construction will be done by the modular company. They will be looking, for community outreach. Kevin, they'll contact you. Post it on our website. Many charities collect money and you don't know where the money goes. Habitat, it speaks for itself. And I have a personal proclivity for Habitat, which I won't go into, but it's a great charity, and if you're looking for something to give that actually shows results, I would encourage you to check the website in the next few months for Habitat.
discussion items, anything that you want to bring up? All right, we have two ordinances for introduction only tonight. The first one is 0718, approving an agreement of sale 2678-22-0718, approving an agreement of sale between the Borough and New Jersey American Water Company, Inc. for the sale of the borough's wastewater collection system and authorizing a proposal to be printed on the ballot for consideration by the voters within the borough at the general election on November the 8th, 2022, providing for the sale of the borough's wastewater collection system to American Water Company, Inc. Motion for introduction only.
So moved.
Second.
And we will have further discussion, and our public hearing will be when on this, Kevin?
It'll be at the next meeting on August 1st.
And if it were to be passed at that point, we're well within the time frame to get this on the ballot.
Yeah, August 19th is the deadline, the final deadline to get it on the ballot for the November election.
Okay. This ordinance, if introduced, as I'm sure it will be, and passed, which we don't know, but I'm confident it will, still requires a public vote. So that referendum will be placed on the ballot if our timetable, works properly. And Kevin, I know we'll do a very active and informative public information series of events so that the people know exactly what a referendum is. Because the general public, they hear the word referendum, and Dr. Brady, what do they think?
That cost me money.
And that will not be the case here. So we will do everything we can to not relive the school referendum, I think from 1997 or 2000.
And a few years ago, we had a LoSAP referendum for.
Same concept. All right, roll call for introduction.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, next ordinance for introduction only, 2679-22-0718, approving amendments to the lease with Hathaway Solar LLC, the contract redeveloper for two leases with affiliated entities of Hathaway Solar LLC for property known as Tax Block 124, portions of lots 1 and 21 located in the landfill redevelopment area pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1ET SEQ for a solar project. Motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
And again, for the public, both of these hearings prior to adoption will happen at our August 1st meeting, 7 p.m. in this building. All right, we have a few ordinances for hearing and adoption. We'll take them individually. First one is 2675-22-0705, a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $5,200,000 for Station Road extension to Route 206 in and by the Borough of Somerville in the County of Somerset, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $5,200,000 bonds or notes of the borough for financing part of the appropriation. I need a motion to open public hearing on this ordinance.
Motion to open.
Second.
Roll call.
Sorry. Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, public hearing on this ordinance. Hearing no public comment, I'll take a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady, Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How is this being financed? Is this going to be, each one's going to be repaid out of revenue from the project?
Well, I can answer that if you want. This was part of the agreement we had with the developer, Somerset Development, whereby we would entertain the building of that road and financing of it with their agreement that they would pick up the debt service for the first 5 years of obligation. That would enable us to get up to speed on the pilot. They're close to completion, and we haven't done anything yet. So the 5 years looks like it's going to be pretty much of a plus for us, because they will, as we agreed, will pick up the debt service on that. As far as where the funding is coming from, that is a resolution later. We're talking about the improvement authority as the lending agency for us. And that will be a borough road. That's one of our roads.
So in other words, when we are issuing the bonds and it will be a borough road,
Right.
the actual payment will be done by the developer.
4 or 5 years.
So what's happening is we are making an adjustment with this. It's the original agreement was 5 years amortized over 30 years. We're looking at a pooled financing program, and we may finance this over 15 years. So we're just gonna have to work out the numbers as to exactly what the developer pays. But I mean, as far as we're concerned, it was 5 years over 30 years. We may look at a more advantageous financial system that puts it at a 15-year payment.
Because it's a lower rate.
It's a lower rate, and we're doing something new with the county. And also, because it's a road, if it's a general obligation bond, the maximum years you can finance it is 20 years. So while the redevelopment agreement is 5 years or 30, we do have to kind of make that adjustment. And we're not going 20 anyway, we're probably going 15. So what you have is you do have a resolution authorizing this that I added to your agenda to participate in the pool program. And at the next meeting, you'll actually have the schedule of which we'll be paying. So that's the only changes, but in principle, exactly what Councilman Brady said is accurate.
So some of that road has been completed, it's got some gravel, it's got some infrastructure in it, so it's ready to go.
All right, next one. All right. We have a motion and a second. Roll. Thank you.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes?
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Tina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, our next ordinance, 2676, 22-0705, and amending chapter 166, section 47, the Borough Code entitled Schedule 6, trucks over 4 tons are excluded on certain roads. I need a motion to open the public hearing. So,
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes?
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Tina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
yes. Public hearing on this ordinance. Hearing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Tina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes. All right. Now I need a motion for adoption.
To adopt.
So moved.
Second. All right, question.
Yeah, just more of a statement. So we had a great discussion a few meetings ago on this. This is because there might be correct me if I'm wrong, there might be a warehouse coming to Route 22 in Bridgewater, and there could, in theory, be tractor trailers, right? That's,
I don't really think that has anything to do with it. We just want to make sure our
true,
roads
that's true as
are
well.
safe for the public. We have a lot more children in town crossing, as you well know. And I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Well, it's a piece of the puzzle.
I think that may happen, it may not, but that doesn't mean
But-
we wouldn't have a similar situation occurring in the future.
Absolutely.
It's just good, I think it's a good idea for us to keep our streets both safe and also we put a lot of money to paving those things, we don't want them done.
Just as an aside, this is not a new ordinance, it's amending an existing ordinance, adding some streets to some streets that already have a restriction.
I wish it could be extended to all residential streets in town.
Well, Tom, the problem there is that we have some neighbors that require, for example, I was thinking about that. ShopRite has some pretty big trucks, we've seen them, and they're a pretty good neighbor because we shop there, so we like to get the food and what have you. So there are certain sections of town that might not be applicable. Certainly anything going to 22 and coming out from 22, that seems to be the most difficult street. We have a fellow that comes into the meetings every once in a while, complains about, traffic coming off of 22. And it's a little hotter area than 206. So I agree with you, but I don't want to see no trucks in town. We just don't want to see them on roads that are going to be impacted.
Well, that's why I said residential streets. And certainly access ShopRite without going through residential.
Well, let's restrict our discussion to what we have in front of us tonight. We have an additional 4 streets.
Well, I mean, the goal was to put the trucks on the truck route.
That's right.
Yeah, and so the final question I have is the enforcement issue. So if there's a violation of this, we're gonna have one of our cruisers pulling truckers over? Is that how that's gonna work?
I mean, I can speak to the police chief about it. It's any other, it's a violation, just like every other violation.
Typically, it's enforced by the police.
Yeah, because I don't want to.
Well, we'll put up the signage, obviously, so this ordinance gets sent to the DOT as well.
That's
For review. Put up the signage, we'll have a little education program, and then we'll enforce.
Right, because we have a lot of signs in town, and not all of them are enforced necessarily. But, you know, I just want to make sure that we pass something, let's make sure we follow through on it, not just let it, you know, fizzle out.
Kevin, while we're doing the signage on these streets, have Public Works check the existing streets that should have signs. Make sure they're all there as well. I think it's a great idea, and we'll see how this works. We may want to extend it at some point, but for now, this is, you know, trying to be proactive. I will mention this passage, which I hope passes, at our regional center meeting on Wednesday, and I know it will generate some discussion between our neighboring towns, but we have to protect our streets and our
Just wait
neighborhoods.
45 days before you mess with it.
Well, the ordinance requires us to send it to the two adjoining municipalities. So on Wednesday, either you're gonna break the news soon, or they have it, one of these got there.
That's fine. All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Kevin, time-wise, in terms of the signs,
I don't know what I think after we have to advertise the ordinance too, and I think we have I think it's 10 days after the advertisement, the ordinance actually becomes effective.
Plus, you're also gotta hear from the county and from DOT.
Yeah, the DOT is supposed to give us a response. They normally do so within 45 days or so.
maybe by September. It'd be nice to have this in effect on the first day of school.
I'll include a cover letter of that.
That'd be my goal, is, you know, especially when Manning opens, make sure it's, you know, all the signs are up and PD's aware. Okay, our last ordinance, 2677-22-0705, a bond ordinance, amending a bond ordinance 2650-21-1018, finally adopted by the Borough Council of the Borough of Somerville on November 1, 2021. Need a motion to open public hearing. So moved. Second.
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Public hearing on this ordinance? Hearing none, motion to close. So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady. Tom
Yes.
Mitchell. Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Motion for adoption. So moved. Second.
Second.
Roll
We
call.
get a little explanation of what this is and how much it's gonna cost?
Sure. The intent of this ordinance was about a year ago, you authorized the purchase of a fire truck. You set a cap at about $800,000. The fire departments worked diligently to try to get that vehicle for that price. They've cut back a lot of different areas. They do need a little additional money. So we're basically amending the ordinance to authorize that purchase.
Is some money coming from flood insurance? Is this
It
the
is
truck
not.
that was lost in the flood?
It is not for this acquisition. They're gonna hold on to the vehicle that they purchased from Scotch Plains under the emergency, and that'll be their, their backup or spare. But this is, the purchase right now is allocated at $819,000. It'll be purchased through, Sourcewell on next council meeting. If there is an increase between that, by the time we started this ordinance, they're just gonna make the adjustments to remove certain items off. But I think this is, fortunately, in a matter of a year, the economy's really, took a toll on the cost of a lot of things, and certainly the fire truck was one of them. I still think that at that price, I know it's a large number,
but in this business, it's a reasonable price for an apparatus.
What's the expected life?
Well, in Somerville, they had adopted a policy years ago that every 20 years they would start looking at replacement. We've amended that policy to have the apparatus as a vehicle, have the vehicles appraised and reviewed, and make that determination. But generally, it's a 20 year. The length of the debt service is 20 years as well. Useful life. I don't know, Roger, as a fireman, could you add anything else? I'm not sure.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
This is the public.
And this is to replace engine one, that was already going to be replaced as it were. And it was due for replacement anyhow. That is the one we have as Kevin said, we're taking the engine that we purchased from Scotch Plains that will go to zero. And this will replace that engine. So yes, it's an engine, so it has a tank on it.
What was the ultimate disposition of the chassis for the apparatus that was lost?
It's currently on auction. Yeah,
Did we get 20,000 for it? No.
No.
Even for scrap metal?
So yeah, I mean, we've had some opportunities. There's been a couple films that we're looking for a type of background, but they're not going to pay that. I've talked to the film commission as well. Just as soon as people know you have this type of equipment, they like to use it in the background. It's not operational. We kind of cannibalized it a little, to say the least. We've taken the tires off and anything of value. So really, it's worth the metal that it's sitting on. It's probably likely that we probably have it towed over to the recycler and weigh it, and that would be the end of its life.
Motion second, roll call?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
We're at our open public meeting part. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes. Before we open to the public, just a reminder to the public, you can come up, identify yourself, name and address for the record. Address your comments, questions to myself. Try to keep your comments within the 5-minute time limit, and public session is open.
Greetings.
Mayor Kerwin, welcome.
How are you? Just want to thank
Name
everyone.
and address for the record.
Mike Kerwin. Mike Kerwin, 8 Everett Drive, Somerville, New Jersey. I'm here in my private citizen capacity. I just want to thank the mayor and council for moving ahead with this ordinance to put up for a referendum the sale of the sewer system. Brings back memories that this is an issue that's been plaguing Somerville, frankly, for decades. And those that have been around long remember the time that there was literally a sewer moratorium preventing any construction at all because the system was so messed up. And it was a challenge. It's been a challenge for a long, long time. And what I fear is a situation where that scenario comes back again, and we're faced with an ultimatum to fix the system with really limited resources to do so. So I'm really pleased that after all these years, our borough has found a creative solution to move forward. I'll talk a little bit more at the public hearing, but I really, this is a big deal. So I think it really makes a nice solution for a long-term solution for really put our borough, a great community that we enjoy here on a really solid footing. So thank you for moving forward.
Thank you.
Well,
Hearing no other comment, I'll have a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes. We have our consent resolutions. I would like to pull 231. Anyone else?
With the one add-on that I gave you actually needs a roll call vote, so you can't put that in.
With the exception of 240 then.
I would like to go to 30.
227, amending resolution 22-0321-102, awarding a contract to Ben Schaefer Recreation for repairs to Pat Webster Basketball Court on Mercer Street. 228, authorizing an application for grant funding, statewide insurance under the 2022 Safety and Loss Control Grant Program. 229, authorizing the mayor to execute a sub-grantee agreement with the County of Somerset for an additional $80,000 for CDBG money for the senior citizens housing. 230, salary adjustments for 2022. 232, approving Joseph Jimenez to be hired as a lifeguard, $17 an hour for the period as listed. 233, approving Haley Bentz to be hired as a lifeguard for the period listed. 234, approving Vanessa Thompson to be hired as a lifeguard for the time period listed. 235, awarding a contract to Absolute Fire Protection under Sourcewell pricing for an E1 Typhon top grade pumper apparatus. 236, approving a second amended and restated redevelopment agreement with Hathaway Solar LLC for property known as Tax Block 124, lots 1 and 21 in the landfill redevelopment area for the development of a solar project. 237, authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for construction documents, bidding and construction phase services for the restoration of the entry portico at Somerville Borough Hall, historic dating Robert House to HMR Architects. 239, approving a road closure for Artisan Market August 7, 2022, 12 to 6 p.m. to Division Street from South Street to Veterans Memorial Drive. Have a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom, Fred Weed.
Yes.
And Mayor, I do know, I think I said next meeting you'll have a resolution authorizing the purchase of the truck. I forgot it was on there.
Go ahead.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for not correcting my error.
No. It was written, and if it's written down, I assume it's good to go. All right, 231, accepting the resignation of Ken Utter from the planning board. Have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I'd just like to make a comment. Not only did Ken serve on our planning board, he served at this table for a term. He served on, he was very instrumental in our church, very active with senior citizens, a veteran, OEM, Elks. Just a great community person. So we're honored to be on an election ballot with him at least once and work, at this table again with him. His wife Tina also served on the zoning board as well as library board, environmental commission too. So a family that was Somerville, roots deep, and they relocated, and I wish them very well. And their new life wouldn't surprise me that within a year in their new community, they'll be just as active and involved as they were here. So bittersweet. You close one chapter and you look up as a new one, and I wish Ken and Tina collectively and individually health and happiness in their next endeavors. Have a roll call on that.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
And our last one, 238, accepting the resignation of Marilyn Marks effective August 1st, 2022, end of business July 29, 2022, and authorizing final payment for time accumulated. Motion.
Second.
Randy, you wanted to comment?
Yeah, when I first started on the council in 1995, the first one I bumped into was one Marilyn Marks, who, since I was given the role of finance chairman by Mayor Coviella, gave me these 5 or 6 huge folders of vouchers. And she said, well, here, Councilman Brady, you have to sign these vouchers. I said, I have to do what? She said, it's only twice a month. And in those days, you had to sign the voucher, not initial the voucher. So after about 6 months, I purchased a stamp. And I had my dear wife, who was probably not authorized to do it, but she and I used the stamp, and we signed every single voucher twice a month. And then Marilyn was also the representative for a union, and she was a tough person. She was a good fighter for her union people. And I have to say, in all the years I've known Marilyn, she was always diligent, she did her job, she was was there, and she would answer questions, but if you missed a voucher, it would show up on a Monday night, it would be given to Kevin, and Kevin would dutifully give it to me, and I had to sign that damn voucher. So I miss Marilyn because she was one person of many, but she was one I could always rely upon, and I certainly wish her well.
Kevin, do you recall how many years she served for?
35 years.
35 years. We'll be missed. All right, roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Right. Resolution 22-0718-240. Resolution of the Borough of Somerville, the County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, the local unit authorizing the local unit's participation in the pooled loan financing program of the Somerset County Improvement Authority. Motion.
So moved.
Second?
Kevin, it's my understanding this is a new program for the county. They've reached out to municipalities to gauge interest, and we're certainly, we have used their county improvement authority in the past. We to maximize their good credit rating. Their interest rates are usually a little bit less than ours, and it's a shared service that's benefited us, and we will not need the 5% down.
Yeah, we don't need to put the 5%
that we normally would.
You know, I don't know how many communities, I think it was predicated on the number of towns who buy into it. Apparently there were enough for us to be a participant. We had to apply for it, and I remember when Paige approached me at one point, she said, well, the deadline's today. I said, well, apply for it. We get a fine if we don't, what difference does it make? It happened to be at the height recently of the huge interest rate debacle that we've seen, and this could come at a better time.
And we've been very successful in the past with the various projects with the authority as well.
At the next meeting, you'll have a resolution that identifies the rate that will be
Yeah, I was
paid.
gonna say,
You just don't know that yet.
All right.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes,
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yep.
Fred Weed.
Yes. Bills and vouchers.
So,
are we doing the 718?
Oh, that was-
That's the ordinance, I'm sorry.
so just to, Granville says that,
You did authorize it. That was,
Okay,
excuse me, California.
okay. got it.
Yeah, I apologize. You had two ordinances there. They're identical. There was a typo in one of them. And I explained, most of those were there early. I explained that. I'm sorry. I apologize to Gina and Grant. That come in a little later. But they're the same ordinance. There was just a typo in there.
so yes, with bills and vouchers, luckily it's only an additional now. Probably, normally, as finance chair, I will do it over the weekend. Today just so happened to be in the morning, and you're going over sometimes 100, vouchers, and you take a look, and if I have questions, I give it to Kevin and Paige. But it's a lot of work, and to prepare that, Marilyn did a beautiful job. And when I first started on council, we'd always get the email, vouchers are ready. And that was it. That was the only part of the email. So, Marilyn will be missed. But
I asked Kevin, how many towns do this? I'm thinking about could we streamline it, right? And Kevin said, well, about 50% of the towns still have the same system, so we lost that battle.
How much should we spend?
with that said, I move to pay in the amount of $1,456,485.18 in bills and vouchers.
Second,
Council members Granville Brady,
yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Move for adjournment.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed?